Hello, everyone. My name is Miss Rhonda, and welcome to TME Podcast. Thank you for tuning in today. I want to take the time to thank all of my listeners, whether you are an international listener or a domestic listener. I do appreciate you. Please continue to share and listen to the podcast. I am absolutely ecstatic that I have a number of new and different types of guests coming up on the TME podcast. We have officially started season 2, as you know, and season 2 will end um, the last Wednesday in December will be the end of season 2, and I'm very happy to say I have guests coming in. Yes, 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 of all types and of all subjects, because as you know, here on TME Podcast, I like to do a variety of topics for my listeners. So for those of you who are not familiar with me, like where did this little chocolate girl come from, right? Well, I am a resident of the Midwest. I'm an author, in case you have not had a chance to Google me. I am an author. I am a certified Lean Six Sigma Green Belt. I am a mom and a grandmother. Yes, I am. I have a new grandbaby on the way. So, hey, cannot wait to meet him. But I started off in my entrepreneurship as a realtor, as you may know, and it's just kind of evolved over time. I dabbled a little here and dabbled a little bit there. And in 2012, I started embarking on my topic of change your mind, change your life. Since then, almost every year, because there was a couple of years I did not do my conference. Almost every year since 2012, my computer is blinking. I don't know why my computer is blinking. I hope it's not blinking on the screen. Almost since then, I have hosted or facilitated a women's conference, whether in person or virtual, um, on the topic of mindset or other topics related to women. This year, August the 27th, I am doing the topic on self care, and I have invited three other women to come on the platform with me. We'll be on Zoom and we'll be on the podcast, and I'm trying to figure out how to do it on Clubhouse and TikTok all at the same time. Social media is too much. I'm trying to do it all live. But anyway, so this year our topic is going to be on self care. Self care has been a very huge topic for me this year. And in addition to it being a topic for me, I'm actually doing a product launch on my goal is October to release my product, and it will be a self care box. So it will be an item full of self care items that I use for my self care. These items help me out of a rut, and that included journaling and just honing in on myself, taking the time to be mentally sound. Yes. And once I do my actual live launch, then I'm going to tell that story for the people who are in the audience so they have a better understanding of how that product actually came to be. So I'm very much looking forward to that. So before I actually get started today, I might do a little rambling today since I don't actually have a guest. It's just kind of me talking. Um, and on the topic of self-care, because self-care kind of intertwines with mental health, I want to say that I have a dear friend whose family is going through hell right now. As you know, we are embarking on a new school year, and just this early on in the school year, it's necessary to address bullying. So we have a young lady, young girl, who had been bullied to the point where she did not want to continue to have to go to school with the kids that were bullying her, so she did harm to herself. She is currently on life support. This is no parent, and I know this is not a new subject, but no parent should have to watch their child be on life support because they were overcome and overwhelmed by bullying. You know, I remember when we came up, and we got teased and we talked about each other and it was considered joning, right? But at some point, the joning just went too far, right? Or capping or whatever the fancy names that they used to call it, but it's just gone too far. And then when you couple it with social media and everybody wants to record an incident, and then like the whole world sees you being embarrassed or shamed, then it just becomes too much. But to my friend, Mr. Dickerson, I just want to continue to let you know that I am praying for you, your family, her mom, and her, that she comes out of this well and whole. I was thinking about it the other day and I was like, sometimes the mind just needs to rest so it could heal. I'm and this may not make sense to a lot of people, but I am definitely a believer in divine healing, right? So, and I do believe that you can lay hands on someone and heal them. This just has always been my beliefs. And I know people do different things with chakras and crystals and whatnot. But I believe in divine healing. So we went through this with my mom. And so even when you have the doctors, telling you or advising you or giving their opinion on what you should do with your loved ones, I think that decision has to come from your heart and your spirit. I just don't think that you should be forced to do anything that you're not ready to do, right? So with that being said, I'm continuing to pray for her, and we're looking for a miracle because God can do it. He does miracles every single day, and I believe in it, right? All right, so I've done that, and I gave my little spiel of an introduction. So today I just thought I would kind of go through my book, Change Your Mind, Change Your Life. It's a mindset thing. And we're just going to take a few minutes to kind of go through my book. If you have not read my book, this is the book that I really made my baby. Like, this book is my baby. Like, everything that I've done since then is with conjunction of this book. Okay. So I have a t-shirt brand. I have pillows, change your mind, change your life. My annual conferences is based on change your mind, change your life. I have journals. I have a hard copy journal coming out, the hardcover journal that will be released this year. And it's all about your mindset, change your life. I'm in the journal that's going to be released. I'm using the Lean Six Sigma tools to help you change your mindset, right? To help better how you're thinking about yourself and help you to establish your self-care for yourself, as like I said, coupled with your mental health. So I'm actually done putting that together. I just have to get my sample and then I'm going to roll it out. Yes. So everything that I have done is centered pretty much around this book and the topic of this book. And my main thing about it being your mindset, right? This computer is really acting up. Give me one moment, guys. So, this book came out, I believe, in 2015 or 2016. And it pretty much just goes through the um the steps of the mindset, or the different forms of your mindset, and it kind of lets you know where I began, because I was not always this person, right? I grew up in Kinloch, Missouri, a little chocolate girl with little means, if you will. Very much awesome family, as crazy as we were, and maybe some of what we still are. We are an awesome family. Not saying that we're perfect, but I think we are an awesome family. Very family oriented. I love my family, period. Right. Um, but anyway, so I am, I guess I could say my mindset has grown so much over the years. And I really have to give a lot of the credit to, of course, my moms, because I was blessed to have two moms, but my children. If you allow children to, they will keep you grounded, and they will be your reason, they will be your why. And my children have always been my reason as to why I've tried to do better. I was a teen mom, so my girls, they did without a lot. We had to move around a lot. We never had a lot, right? We had to move back home several times. So they have seen me go through it, right? But because of them, and then I later on I had a son when I was turned 33. Um, they always kept me grounded. They always gave me a reason to try something different and to do more, right? And I'm the type of person that I do not believe in limiting myself. I don't believe in limitations. And I don't believe in letting anyone put limitations on me. And I don't think that you should either, because you don't know what your path is going to lead you to. Does that make sense? So, um, and I think that everything happens for a reason. Like every bit of education that I have um, gotten into or completed has been for a purpose. My mom used to say, I wish you would use that degree for, something different. But even though I didn't use my degree necessarily in the corporate world, I used it in my own businesses, right? Um, I've authored over 8 books. I have a consulting business where I consult, with business startup, business owners, people who want to start a business. I'm a writing coach for people who want to write their own books. Okay. So, adding to my consulting business, I'm now a certified Lean Six Sigma Green Belt, where I work on continuous process improvements. And I have a contract position with Virtuosity for that, right? So everything flows hand in hand, if you will. I have a desire to own my own trucking company. So I have acquired my CDL so no one can get over on me. And if I have to get out there and drive the truck, I can get out there and drive the truck. Does that make sense? Right? So I want to own my own car rental company. So I have a car company. I have a transportation company, right? So even though I'm putting things in place, they may not have actually come to fruition yet, but I'm putting things in place for myself for the future. So don't let anyone put limitations on you. And no matter how small your steps have to be, just keep making your steps. And people think that you are doing too much or you're not doing anything, but little do they know you are planning masterfully. Okay. So I just had to say that really quick. For someone who may need a little bit of encouragement today. I almost didn't even come on today. I was like, I just didn't feel like it. It's one of those days where you have to push yourself regardless of how you feel on the inside. You have to be productive on the outside. Today is my mom's birthday. May she rest in heaven, rest well. Um, and typically on her birthday, I'm kind of a little funky, but I'm pushing through it. I'm pushing through it. My day started off hell crazy because of a Lyft driver, and thank God my sister came and saved me. So today has just not been the greatest day, but I know you all, some of you all can relate, right? But in the name, so we are here. We are here. So in the book, I really started off, like I said, telling you the brief story about myself, which I've already told you from being a teen mom. I used to be on welfare. I used to be on Section 8. I worked myself off of those things. And my son had not, he was the only child I had that was not in the system. I worked. I didn't receive food stamps, any of those things when with him as when he was a child. Um, and with my girls, I worked myself off of the Session 8 program. And for a while, I never could understand back then why people, when you talk about limiting beliefs, people would limit their income and not have their income raised above that threshold that would put them out of their Section 8 housing. And that's fine if that's what they want to do, right? But for me at that time, that would have been limiting my growth. That's definitely not something that I wanted to show my girls, right? Um, so don't you have to work on your limiting beliefs. And I think maybe we don't always realize that we have limiting beliefs, right? Like, I can't do that. If I do that, then I won't get this. If I do this, then I'm going to be cut off from that. And I'm not saying it's easy, but please, I'm not saying it's easy, because this is 2022 and these gas prices and these food prices have been out of sight this year, okay? It has just been utterly ridiculous. And like what you normally spend at a grocery store, like even Aldi's, is not the same anymore because everything is just so expensive. We started gardening this year, trying to grow our own food. You notice I said trying. We have not been successful as of yet. All I can say is the things that we learned this year, we'll be able to carry over into next year, and then preferably we'll be better at it. So I'm not talking to you, Siri. So limit your limiting beliefs. And I think if you don't see any progress in your life, if you don't feel like you are moving in the right direction, if you feel like you are stagnant, you may need to take a moment and sit down and even if you have to write it out and figure out, ask yourself, are you limiting yourself? Do you have limiting behaviors, limiting beliefs? What is stopping you from moving forward? Because as we have all heard and as we all know, there's no one stopping you but you. We all have the same 24 hours. We all have difficult choices to make. And typically, our moving forward, staying stagnant, or going backwards is about a choice that we made or we did not make. So look at your choices and figure out if you are, or if you have limiting behavior or limiting thoughts. Sorry about that. My phone is ringing. And how you think about a thing is one of the chapters in my book. So that just goes into what I just said about limiting behaviors. Why is it that you do what you do? What makes you think, and how you think about a thing will determine if you move forward, move back, if you're taking the right steps, all right, or even being around the right people, right? Because sometimes that could be a factor in it. They say if you hang around four of the same types of people, then you're going to be that fifth one, right? Or make it whatever number that you want, right? So even if you have friends who are not doing anything, they're hanging out, they ain't making no money, they ain't trying to make no life changing decisions, they don't travel, they just don't do nothing, they ain't married. They just whatever. If they are not thinking like you or moving like you might want to kind of change your friends or the people that you hang around. Not saying that you can't be friends with them anymore, but you just need to spend less of your time with those people, right? So when we talk about elements of change, we want to talk about awareness. One of the first elements of change is to be aware that a change needs to take place to begin with. It's the same notion of an alcoholic of a drug or a drug user. They cannot get the help they need until they admit that they need the help. Make sense? This is no different than your mindset. You have to first become aware that you have stinking thinking, and then you can move forward with the places, move forward with replacing your negative thoughts with positive ones. So, elements of change. You know, I always say, and one of my favorite sayings is from one of my favorite books is you should have what you say, right? Your words go out before you, period. Your words go out before you. I don't even let anyone speak negative things over me. No, you can't say this to me. No, you can't tell me what I cannot do. Right? I don't care who you are. You will not speak that over me. You can't call me broke. I don't care if I don't have $1 in my wallet or $1 sitting in cash out. No, you can't say I'm broke. I am financially challenged at the moment, but money is always on its way to me. You understand? Your words speak power and they speak life, but you have to choose, you have to make that choice, right? To be cautious and aware of what you're speaking of yourself and even to others. Ladies, watch where you're speaking over your men. Speak life into him. Men, speak life into your ladies. Parents, speak life into your children, right? Don't tell that child he ain't never gonna be nothing. You just like your daddy. No, that's not what we need to do. That is not what we need to do. Okay? So elements of change. Understanding. You must understand now only how you must understand now only how your thought processes and your reactions affects others and how they affect you as well. As I just said, your words, right? They have an effect on you and they have an effect on others. I'm sorry, my screen is still blinking. Um, there is a reason you respond negatively to any situation that comes up. It started with a thought. Until that is understood, recognized, and brought to the forward, you will not be able to change it. I apologize. You will not be able to change it. So until you understand why a thought makes you react a certain way, then you will not be able to change it. Why does a certain person upset you just by the sight of them? Why is it certain conversations make you go on a tangent, right? What is it? What is it? One of the examples for me is, maybe I don't know if this is a good example or not. Maybe I shouldn't say that. But there's certain things I cannot watch on TV due to my personal experience. There's certain things that I cannot see and I cannot watch. Does that make sense? Um, so yeah. Disassociation, we kind of talked about that. Disassociating yourself from people who don't think like you, they're not moving like you, they don't have the visions that you have, they don't want the same type of things that you want, their atmosphere is different than yours. You know, if you hear a lot of people talking about peace right now, and peace means different things to different people. Some people may need mental rest, some people may need physical rest, some people like quiet. Peace to some people is me only being with their loved ones, maybe just being with their grandchildren. Peace to someone else may only be by themselves. But peace is different from different. Peace is different for different people. So disassociation, and there's nothing wrong with that word. Sometimes it's necessary to distance yourself just so you can get back on track, if that makes sense. Reconditioning. By the disassociation, you can now begin to reaffirm your thoughts, change them to the new and refreshing thoughts. A positive mindset is a healthy mindset. And wait a minute. Until you change it, you cannot change your life. That does that does not mean that that is an easy task to do. When you're talking about changing your mind, when you're talking about watching your words, right? And for me, Deanna Taylor at the time was her name, and I credit her to help. I credit her to teaching me how to speak life and teaching me about the power of my words, right? Because had I not learned that, then I just would not know better. And to be even more specific, if I had not gotten that principle, when she taught it to me and kept grinding into my mind and my thoughts, when she'd be like, "What did you say? That's not what you don't say that. You say this, right?" And the teachings of the church that I was going to at that time, I never would have gotten to the point of change your mind, change your life, right? Because I just would not have grasped the concept. Not at all. I just would not have. So then we talk. I thought in the book I talk about the fixed mindset and the growth mindset. So that is in the book as well, and we talked about a little bit about that. The fixed mindset, like I said, your limiting beliefs. That's kind of a fixed mindset, and growth mindset believes that you can do more and have more and be more. So that I talk about that in the book as well. I'm just kind of scrolling through the elevator mentality. Excuse me, talk about that a little bit in the book. And changing your thoughts, going from level to level. That's your elevator mindset. The controlling of your life. Have you ever felt like your life is just out of control? The things that are happening right now, you just cannot seem to get it nailed down. You cannot seem to um, be productive. All hell is breaking loose. It's just right. So control your life. And for me, I had to get to the point where, and maybe, oh Lord, I don't know how long I've been muted. Ah, this computer's driving me nuts today. So I hope you heard me talk about the fixed mindset, the growth mindset. The fixed mindset, meaning that you have limiting beliefs. You're limiting yourself of what you can do and what you think you can do. The growth mindset is exactly that. That you no longer have the limiting beliefs, and you are growing your mindset. You have new thoughts, fresh thoughts. The way you do things have changed, right? I talked about the elevator mindset, which is your levels. You're thinking on different levels now, and we talked about hanging around people who think like you. If you are see, I lost my whole train of thought because this stupid thing it was muted, and I don't know how long I've been muted. I do apologize. So we talked about changing your environment, changing your atmosphere. If you're around people who do not share your vision, they don't share your likes, they don't share your what you think your future goals will look like, They're not married, they don't have any relationship goals. If they're not moving like you're moving, then you might need to disassociate yourself from those type of people, because they can be hindering your growth. So now I hope I have not been muted too long. I'm gonna have to go back and listen to this. Now I'm talking about controlling your life. There are things in your life that you have control over, and there's things in your life that you don't. What you can control are the things that you should concentrate on, and the things that you cannot control, you're just going to have to let go. That's something that I learned this year really well, is just to not let the small stuff stress me out, not be stressed out about things that I have no control over. The doctor appointment that's pushed way out, that I need, to see my doctor right away. Why am I stressing about that? I can't do anything about that, right? Something that I need to come in the mail that hasn't come, waiting. Why am I stressing about that? I cannot do anything about when the post office is going to deliver the mail, right? Those are just small things. But in somebody else's actions, you cannot control what somebody else does, says, or thinks. So stop trying to police other people and just let it be. You just have to decide whether you're going to deal with that person or that situation, or you're not. Move on, right? But control your life. There is nothing that's hindering you, stopping you, like I said before, other than you. So that's another chapter in the book. And as I'm just kind of breezing through, just to give you an idea of the book is available on Amazon.com, and it is Change Your Mind, Change Your Life. It's a mindset thing by Rhonda McAllister, yours truly. Passport to your mind. Google tells me the definitions of a passport is a thing that ensures admission or the achievement of something. Put that in the context of your mind or your mindset. Admit more healthy, constructive, positive, and powerful words into your mind so that you can release more of the same out, right? What comes in goes out. What you think, you speak, and you act it out. Do you realize that the more you read, the more words you learn, the more verse you are in conversation, the more words you relate to by definition. Transformation in, transformation out is another chapter in the book, where it just talking about more the transformation of yourself. What you change on the inside will bring a change to you on the outside, right? Right, just like right now I'm reading Atomic Habits. I think his name is James Cleary. I think that's the author's name. I hope I got his name right. So, and as I'm reading, sometimes I'm actually reading the book and sometimes I'm listening to it on YouTube. But when I'm actually reading, I take the time to write notes, and then whatever chapter I am, I try to actually act that out. One of the things he said, and this is a good point about the transfer in, transfer out, is, say, like, I cleaned up my room this evening, right? But if I don't make the conscious mindset in my mind to change how I keep my room, then I will always have to reclean my room, because my room is just going to be junky again, right? So if I don't transform or change where I keep things and where I put things and what actually can be in my room, then I will always have to constantly reclean my room and have a junky room. It just goes, and I'll be rinse and repeat doing the same thing of having to clean my room every day. And you should have what you say, your words. I've already talked about that. That's a chapter in the book as well. Ask for what you want, expecting a yes answer. Yes. Stop assuming. talk to the decision maker. Don't just take no for an answer. Find the right person and to get your yes answer. You know, some people think just because they answer the phone, they make the decisions. That's not who makes the decisions, right? Be clear. Be clear about what it is that you want or asking for. If you tell someone you want more money, then give them, they might give you $1 and you will have more money. You did not say how much more money you wanted. So be clear. It is important to be specific. Unclear requests get vague results. It kind of reminds me of relationships, ladies, because men cannot read our minds. Lord have mercy. Don't get me started on that one. And then I have an exercise in the book that I want you to do. Where you make your 4 columns and write some things out. So that is at the end toward the end of the book. And the last thing I want to talk about is the chapter says, put a demand on your potential. And as you heard me say earlier, I don't believe in limiting beliefs, and some of the things that I put in place for myself. You know, I'm an author and now I help other people become authors. I have a coaching business. So now I have a Lean Six Sigma certification, and I will be working on my life coaching because that goes in hand with my self-care. As you know, I'm releasing my self-care box as my product. So all of this, right? So put a demand on your potential. Get into position, right? So I talk about that in the book as well. You know, get in position, get yourself ready, start making those steps. They can be small steps, and stop looking at what everybody else is doing and concentrate on what it is that you're doing and what you need to be doing for yourself and for your business. And just because that someone else is doing what you do and they're making a bukus of money and you're just getting started because you may not have the resources you need right now. But guess what? Keep trucking along, keep being prepared. Keep preparing yourself, because when the opportunity comes, guess what? You're going to be ready. And why will you be ready? Because you have been getting yourself in position and you have put a demand on your potential. Does that make sense? There was a young lady on TikTok, and she was saying how she had so much inventory and very little sales, right? And one of the things that I told her, I was like, you keep making your inventory because you're going to get a large order, and the large order is not going to throw you because you're going to already have the inventory. So keep making your inventory and get creative with it. So I kind of gave her some ideas of some other things she can do. Not that she hadn't done it already, because I don't know her. But, you know, so yes, again, so you talk about speaking life. So yes, you want to speak life into someone, speak life into a situation, help someone, tell someone to get into a position. Because sometimes, even though we know it, we need someone else to tell us, to remind us, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. So put a demand on your potential. Get yourself into position. Assess your risk factor, and I'll let you read the book about that, because that gets more into business when I talk about that and investing in yourself. I'm going into my acronym for GAIN. Go back. I'm sorry. So as I talk about GAIN in the book, the acronym, the G is for get yourself in position. The A is for assess your risk factor. The I is for invest in yourself. And then N is for never give up. So I talk about that in the book. That's my acronym, GAIN, GAIN, and it's a business acronym, or you can even use it for your personally. And I just kind of give some examples in the book of each one for the acronym, right? And I spell it out for you in the book. There's some resources in the book for you as well. And then I just kind of ended with stop holding yourself back. Again, as I said earlier, there's no one or nothing that limits you more than you. So we just have to stop doing that, if that makes sense. So I want to take the time to, again, thank you all for listening to TME Podcast. I do apologize for the difficulties. I hope I was not muted very long in the name. Please continue to listen. TME Podcast is streaming now on about, I want to say 10 channels. I don't have them right in front of me, but of course we are on Spreaker, we are on iHeartRadio, we are on Spotify, we are on YouTube, we will go over to Twitter, as well as Giovanni, which is in India, and there's some other podcasts that we are on as well. I just signed up for Pod Match, so I'm kind of excited about that. That's going to bring a different array of guests onto the show. Starting next week, we should have a new guest that's coming from my Pod Match collaboration. So thank you all for tuning in. Again, please continue to pray for a young lady I told you about earlier who is on life support. Keep listening to TME Podcast on your favorite podcast channel. And look out for my events. You can look for my events on Eventbrite if you are locally in St. Louis. The 2022 Change Your Mind, Change Your Life Women's Zoominar will be a virtual conference, so you can look forward to that. The event is on Facebook. You can look that up and register so that you can get the freebies. Right, and you can meet the presenters. So thank you again for listening. I am Miss Rhonda, and I will see you at the top. Good night.